Hey guys, welcome back. So today, I want to talk about what Biden and the United States are doing about Russia in the Ukraine. I took several different notes from several different websites and I compiled them all together. So the first part is Biden put on new sanctions. Now, this is from another article. It says sanctions target 4 Russian banks and hold more than $1 trillion in assets. He also put sanctions on the wealthy people of Russia. They're supposed to be people that's close to Putin, and he did not target Putin himself. So he's telling these people that are close to Russia, you know, if you got a yacht on American-controlled waters, then you can't come and get it. So stuff like that. So I'll actually go over each individual sanction that he put in place, and then I'll put them on screen somewhere. But I'm just going to summarize them here for this video. If you need to pause it, go ahead and pause it, and then you can read them. So the first one is Russia's largest financial institution can no longer trade in US dollars. And then he's got full blocking sanctions, freezing assets touching the U.S. financial system from the VTB Bank, which is the second largest bank in Russia. And then full blocking sanctions on another 3 Russian financial institutions. Debt and equity restrictions on 13 Russian enterprises and entities. And they are targeting Russian elites and their families, like what I said earlier. Sanctions on Belarusian individuals. So not only are they going after Russian people, they're also starting to go after Belarusian people from the Belarus. And also entities, the Belarus military, and 2 state-owned banks from the Belarus, because obviously they're hosting Russia so that they can invade from the north. And the United States has cut off exports to Russian Ministry of Defense. I didn't think that we were supplying any of Russia's defense weapons, but I guess we are. Russia-wide regulations on technology imports. And then finally, the U.S. is waiving licensing requirements for imports from other countries that impose these same sanctions. So, in other words, the United States is saying, hey, if you follow in our footsteps, we're going to make it real easy for you to sell stuff here in America. But here's what the White House did not do. There were no sanctions involving Russian SWIFT accounts. And then let's go over SWIFT real quick for anybody that doesn't know. It actually stands for the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunications. And a sanction involving the SWIFT account, if we were to shut Russia off of their SWIFT, it'd mean that every bank in Russia would not be able to make transactions with nearly anyone outside of Russia. So this would make most Russian oil and gas transactions null and void, and that would leave Russia with a 40% loss in their GDP. So, that's a sanction that would really work, and we're not doing that yet. So, there's also no sanctions on Putin himself. You know, if we're going to go after the wealthy people of Russia, why not go after Putin too? After all, this was his decision to invade. And the United States has provided $650 million worth of defense means for Ukraine military, but we didn't leave them with a way to counterattack Russia. See, if we're going to spend that much money, then I think we ought to make sure that they at least have a fighting chance to fight back. The Wall Street Journal says, as people of Ukraine steel themselves for a Russian attack, it's worth recalling how the U.S. persuaded the country to give up its nuclear weapons. The event was the Budapest Memorandum of 1994, in which the United States, Great Britain, and Russia offered security assurances to the nation that had won independence when the Soviet Union dissolved. So back in 94, we told them, we said, hey, you know what? You don't need any means to go and attack a different country, because if you ever get invaded, we've got your back. Well, look how that worked out for them. We didn't really have their back, did we? And the last thing that I don't know why we didn't do is we didn't perform a counterattack in Ukraine. Because just like what I stated earlier from the Wall Street Journal, we told them that we would have their back in 1994, and then whenever push comes to shove, how come we're not doing it? That's what I want to know. All right, now I'd like to talk about how letting this slide with no military recourse could actually affect us moving forward. And while talking about that, let's go back to World War II. Germany, they took Poland to start off World War II because they wanted their territory back, right? But that wasn't their excuse. Their excuse was that the Polish government was persecuting ethnic Germans. And that's exactly playbook what Russia did. So before Russia invaded, it said, hey, you got these people that are being killed and persecuted by the Ukrainian government. Okay, so then, boom, Russia's got a reason to invade. Russia, they've seen how fast that they can take this kind of country and what it's going to be like. And they don't have to worry about any of the sanctions because, well, their allies like China, North Korea, places like that, they're all getting Russia's back here and helping them through these sanctions. So this is a win for Russia, and seeing how much they've gained, they're probably going to go further. Now, here's another post. But the Russian leader's takeaway from Biden's unwillingness to deploy troops is that he can get away with a lot, some critics argue. And China is learning the same weights on how to deal with Taiwan. So the people over at Politico.com, they think that China's going to do the same thing here before too long. And then my final bullet point on that is, Biden's giving Putin a boost of confidence throughout all this. So what's to stop him from going over to countries that are going to affect us, like NATO countries? They've already gotten stronger because, let's talk about that. Whenever a country adds to its border, it gets stronger because you've already got extra taxes, you've got extra assets, anything that their military's left behind, that's yours now. All the natural resources is yours now. So they've gotten that much stronger by taking the Ukraine. And I've got a video on why the Ukraine is so important for Russia. I'll link it somewhere up here. And then my last talking point is the U.S. is putting sanctions on, and the way for them to be lifted is that Russia needs to pull out of the Ukraine. But here's the thing. See, if Russia's looking for a regime change and they just want to really cripple the Ukrainian military and put in a new regime, once they get done doing that, they'll pull out anyway. So there's really no recourse of action here. And, that's all I got for you, folks. So everything's down in the description below. Let me know what you thought of it, if you got anything to add. And also, are you in support of a conflict between the United States and Russia, or do you think it's a bad idea? Let me know down in the comments. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.